The Breaking Through 3030 show is sponsored by Affinitive LLC. Values and investment advice together at last. Visit us on the web at affinitive.com.
Welcome back to Breaking Through. We're excited today that we have Jaclyn with us today. Jaclyn, what is your question for our panel?
My question is, so how do I stop being a chicken and getting comfortable stepping into the spotlight and having momentum?
It's a fantastic question.
Thank you.
So great. Let's go ahead and start with Richard.
Okay, well, that's a great one. Are you familiar with the concept of economic cost? So it's not like a financial cost, but it's more of an opportunity cost. So the cost associated with choosing to do one thing instead of something else. Are you familiar with that idea?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, there's a gigantic economic cost associated with being a chicken. So I'll start there. What is it specifically that you feel like you're being a chicken about?
Around just being comfortable, being so visible. I'm being chicken about. And also, like, with that visibility comes fear of having to keep that momentum up.
Okay.
So how it's kind of like, how do I get okay with riding that momentum and staying that visible all the time?
Okay, so let me go just a little bit deeper. Is your reluctance to be visible because of how you feel about yourself? Or is it because of what your visibility would be associated with? And are you confident or comfortable with what you would be associated with in your visibility?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. The answer is both. So, okay, so just a little bit about me. I am a life coach, and I have also dealt with chronic pain for the past 13 years. And it's really being in the spotlight because I haven't been for so long. Yeah, it's like it's re-emerging and re-entering and being visible and being comfortable. So it's essentially all of it, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, that's me done.
Yeah, it's also because it's like there's a fine line sometimes, like even with what I am speaking about also.
Okay. I want to come back to that.
Okay.
It's someone else can take their turn now.
Awesome. Donnie.
So my question, what practices do you have in place for yourself to help you feel safe as you are re-emerging?
So I have meditation practices, so I feel safe. I've learned to tune into my body, which helps tremendously. And I do a morning ritual. It's very important for me. If I skip that, I notice that my day is completely off. Cannot skip that. And that just helps me feel safe, just starting my day and emerging with everything.
And my second question is, tell me about the worst case scenario of complete visibility.
I won't be able to keep
Totally.
up.
Load us up, Jaclyn. blow it up. Like tell us the absolute worst possible thing that could happen and the devastation that will result.
My goodness. The worst thing. I mean, yeah, the worst thing in my mind, I guess, that I won't be able to keep up with it all. Yeah. I'm still dealing with the health stuff. And I guess that level of visibility, it's unfamiliar to me. Not in the past, it hasn't been, but it is now. So it's navigating that, and yeah, that my body gives out on me too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christy.
Hi, Jaclyn. Okay. So I'm seeing there's first off, there's a lot of energy with you. You really do have a lot of value to give. So kind of, okay. So when you're worried about maintaining, that is in a physical sense. Is that what you're worried about? Is your body in a physical way being able to maintain?
Yeah. I mean, yes, definitely. It's physical. There's always an emotional component. So physical, emotional.
Okay. I mean, okay.
To me, they just go together. But yes, it's the physical getting triggered.
Okay. Is it now? Is the physical emotionally triggered at times, or what triggers?
I have noticed that there is definitely a connection. 100%.
Okay. So do you know what the term empathic means?
Yes.
Has anyone ever told you that you most likely are empathic?
Yes.
And that's why you're able to connect with your clients through the coaching. You're really able to step into their space. Have you ever read anything about it, taken anything in about how to deal with being empathic?
I have, yes.
Yes, you have. And has that helped? Have you put any of those practices into play? Is that part of your ritual?
It is part of my ritual. Like I make sure to clear before and after calls. And I know that does help. That helps tremendously. If I do forget to do that, it does throw me off.
Okay. And I know I've asked like 6 questions, but here goes another. So when you're okay, so you're holding that energy in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pain and all that triggers in physically. How long does that last? I mean, how long does that stop you?
It depends. That'll come after. So it won't happen in the moment. Sometimes it would be a byproduct.
So how long does it take to recuperate from one of those then?
It depends what it is. Like yeah, it really does. I think it's the fear of it happening. So it hasn't happened where it's taken me out. Like the fear of like, it's more the fear of me hurting if there's an outside influence, or like if I fall and hurt myself, or if that takes me out, or if
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're coming from.
Does that make you okay?
I kind of get that. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you too.
Boom.
Is there a certain platform where you notice the visibility, like you have a sense that you're fully exposed more than others? Like where do you feel the most exposed when you are putting yourself out there? So that energy charge.
All of them. That's very nuanced. The most comfortable, there's certain things that I'm comfortable putting on certain platforms. Yeah, so I'd feel like the safest platform might be TikTok. Actually.
More strangers. Yeah.
More strangers. Yes.
Less of people you know on there.
Yes.
Yes.
They're more free to play.
Although, Richard, I know your user 289307. That's great. Jaclyn, my second question is,
Okay.
who do you imagine you'll be when you are visible and it's not triggering? Who do you describe the version of yourself that is successfully doing it and in the resilience that it will require? Like tell me what she's about. What are you seeing in that future version that's not here right now?
A big amount of care for what I'm doing, compassion, enjoying it at the same time. There's an element of play and ease. The fear is not there anymore. It's more how, I guess, concern for the people that are going to consume.
So you're focused on who you're serving instead of yourself coming through. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, cool. So we're going to put a 30-day action plan together for you. So I'm going to go ahead and move you to the breakout room. Is there anything else that you want to say to give them context before we wrap?
I have another question.
Yeah. We have time.
Okay. So do you feel better if you're working in a group, with a group, or single one-on-one?
Group. Co-working with people, or working, you mean one-on-one as opposed to me working?
Oh, so life coaching, would you be better with a group of people and you're kind of coaching them all at once, or are you better in a one-on-one situation?
One-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's in that context, one-on-one. Yeah.
Okay, Jaclyn, I'm going to put you in the waiting room and we'll bring you back in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Oh boy.
She's really got to get it cemented in her mind for a start that there are risks and potential losses associated with just throwing yourself out there, but you are guaranteeing losses if you sit still and do nothing.
So we're going to put that under some mindsets then?
Yep.
Okay. The mindset bucket. Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing I really want to say is, familiarity is the enemy of fear. She's got to get used to doing these things, and then the fear just won't be there anymore.
So in the first one you said was the risks are guaranteed. Could you rephrase that again? You were talking about risk.
Yeah, well, you guarantee losses by doing nothing.
Yeah.
I believe that what she's worried about doing, she does just naturally, just in conversations with friends and people. So I guess I want her to try and take note of just how naturally this comes to her. So it's not like she has to pull from this well of energy that she doesn't think she already has it. She already has it. So it's getting comfortable and trusting that. So work on trusting herself and maybe realize how much she really does this for other people already, just how it comes.
I think one of the buckets is practices. So I love that she had some meditation and somatic practices and rituals. And I actually think she needs to amp them up, because not only is she really good at what she does, she's smart and she's beautiful. So she's going to get advances from people who want to be in her energy and help her, but she's also going to get advances from people who just want to get in her DMs. And she's just going to have to be able to say, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. So the boundary, I think she might have to do some work around amplifying her boundaries and what they mean and what they look like, because she's naturally empathic. When she was talking about not being able to keep up, one of the things that she could think about is like, what does a sustainable pace mean or look like for her, and to define it in that way of like, okay,
Yeah.
this is phase 1, this is phase 2, this is phase 3.
That's a really good point. Yeah, she's definitely going to have to get some clarity around that so that, you know, she doesn't exceed her limits. So yeah.
Yeah, on the maintaining it, I completely understand that. I'm concerned with that myself. She needs, yes, I agree with Donna. She's got to amp up that morning ritual. She also needs to find something about empathic and setting those boundaries emotionally. It's kind of like this, when she's in the coaching session, I can see her tune into their energy, read it, and help pull out those things she needs to pull out. However, once that's done, she needs to back that off. She needs to pull out of that energy. And I don't think she necessarily is. I think she's carrying part of their weight with her as well. So some kind of cleansing, some kind of thing that she puts together that allows her to take that energy back out, put it in a box, and put it away. What's not hers. She's feeling so much that's not hers. And carrying that's going to get heavy. So this is going to help with maintaining and sustaining. Is by right now I step into this, I feel it, I help pull from that, we're together in this, and then when she backs out, she needs to really back out energetically in every other way. So look up something setting those boundaries like that.
It's a great description. Any other, so I have mindsets, there's some practices. We have a couple of questions. Are there other questions that you have for her that she should get clarity on, or other things that she might intellect on and explore?
Honestly, I think she just needs to do it. She really just needs to jump and do it. But taking into account, you know, exactly what Christy and Donnie said, and really importantly, what Donnie said as well, like getting a very clear idea about, you know, what sustainable looks like, what does fully booked look like, and to make sure that that's not exceeded. Something else for her to think about too is maybe what kinds of systems she can put around her work to make it easier to manage, to remove manual processes, to reduce the number of moving parts, because all of that stuff takes up a surprising amount of headspace if you're not on top of it, and that takes away from the value that you're able to give.
I don't know what to do with this or where to go with it, but it's just something that I'm feeling. But it's like almost this feeling of throwing up. It's like, oh, she's purging.
Yes, she does have that.
Yeah. There's purging of the old stuff, but also I think part of it is purging. It's like once it comes out, then you need to put something back in to replace it. But if you're putting in the same thing that replaces it, then it just continues it continues the cycle. So I think as she purges, one of the things she needs to think about is like, what is the new thing that she's replacing the old space with?
So what do you need to purge and replace? What's the new thing you'll like do or be instead? Or
so an example for me is like I've been purging worry and inserting more curiosity. And so I know when the worry comes up, that's my indicator of like, oh, I need to be really curious about this, so that it resets in my body in a very different way. And so for her, I don't know what it is that she needs to reset or insert, but there's something else that she could use to explore. So maybe it is maybe it's tenderness. It could be tenderness. or maybe it's this is a new one.
Go, Eloise.
If maybe she's there's something around martial arts. So who's her fighter? Like, what does her fighter look like? You
So
can do soft and compassion all day.
So exchanging the soft compassion for the warrior. Like, is that what you mean? Like not a warrior.
But it's not like warrior as in like, oh, I gotta fight off the world, but it's warrior as in like, no.
Did you say fight off the orc or fight off the oracle?
The world.
Fight off the warrior. Fight off the world.
Sorry, I went back to Lord of the Rings again.
Kind of catching on what Donnie's saying. So when he says the martial arts, Tai Chi or something like that, after a session to go out and to physically put the body through a pace is going to naturally align the emotional energy and fill that space up with a positive thing, with a calm. It's like a peaceful warrior. That's what that's incredibly important for her.
With the pain management, she might want to find something like a good Qigong class.
Yeah, I think like that's what you're describing here. That's so good.
I think she's going to be surprised how much that opens her up to. The growth potential is amazing. That's what I think is her fear about being so visible. She knows when she goes, everyone's going to look. And that's just as scary as nobody looking at all. So yeah, she needs to get comfortable with her power and anything martial arts, Tai Chi, all these different things. That'll be very vital for her.
Okay. I'm just going to show you what I just kept it super simple. Here you go.
Can I have like 3 exclamation marks after just do it, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
At least 3. I want at least 3. Perfect.
Here we go. We'll just increase the size.
Yes.
So my suggestion to add underneath that is when you say just do it, it's like slay 20%. Like don't do 100% and try to maintain on what you're in your mind is 100%, but slay the 20%, master it. And then all of that fear just goes away instead of expecting it to be all the things at 100. So I'll just add that. Okay. All right. Awesome.
I'm really feeling the urge to point out that self-care is not self-indulgent, is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish.
That's a good one.
And really, she's kind of kicking her own ass that way. Oh, it's recording.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to bring her back. Welcome back. So we have some simple, I made you a little PDF sheet, a little document that we'll give to you. So you don't have to take notes right now. So I'll give that to you after the show closes. But we're going to go ahead and offer you a 30-day action plan, just something to consider and some things to get more clarity on. And dun, dun, dun. So let's do this. So we've divided these into 4 categories, but they kind of flow in together. So I'm just going to go through them kind of quickly. And my lovely panel coaches, if you want to interrupt me, feel free to do so when the passion strikes. But I'm going to simplify what we spoke about for her now. So Jaclyn, the first mindsets and some things to consider are, number 1, risks are guaranteed, but there are more losses by doing nothing. So you're guaranteeing the losses by not taking action. So it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The second one is familiarity is the enemy of fear. And so you'll see this theme coming through all of our suggestions for the next month. And so familiarity, meaning making, the mastery of some of that will reduce the fear. And also trust you already have it. Like, trust yourself. You already do this for other people. It's easy for you. You're great on camera. You're magnetic. All of those things are working. It's probably why it's terrifying. But like trusting yourself, you know, that part of it you already have down. If you could bottle that up for the rest of us, that would be fantastic. We can, like, you know, start a store on Amazon and sell all the Jaclyn juice. It could be amazing. And Christy added, self-care is not selfish, so stop beating your own ass. And some practices to add in would be to amp up the meditation. When you're taking those risks, you have to double up on those other practices that put you in the other energy. So doubling up on that, setting more energy boundaries emotionally, increasing or designing a cleansing practice and a ritual between the clients that you have and those interactions, so that you can take their energy and put it in a box and separate from it, and making sure that you're really separating in between. You have like a transition state in between each of those interactions. And also amplifying your boundaries was something Christy said, and I love that she used that phrase. So amplifying boundaries, and that's not just like building a wall, but like taking a risk by amplifying them without worrying. This is how I heard it, was without worrying what others say about that. Like, it's okay to set those.
Absolutely, yes.
Increase those, amplify them, make them really clear to people, set expectation. Some questions are, what does a sustainable pace mean? Or what does that look like? Get clarity on that so you don't exceed your limits. What do you need to purge and replace? What's the new thing you'll do instead? So for instance, Donnie used an example of like purging worry and inserting more curiosity. So making there's an exchange in that. And a sample would be also looking at the tenderness. So making an exchange of energy. So bringing out your gentle warrior, even though you desire to be seen as caring, allowing that warrior to come forward also. So this is like the yin and the yang of that energy again. And then also maybe a Qigong practice, or adding something where you're really physically moving that energy in a disciplined way, that will help the ecosystem, like committing to that as a practice, so that the energy can support you, and there's an emotional energy exchange in that. And moving the physical body is such a great way to let go of all of that vibration of the fear. Movement is always a thing. And I know you're a dancer, so maybe there's a dance Qigong.
Ooh, yes, maybe there's something for us. Create that.
Yeah. And then action items. I'm just going to say, just do it was like, it has like 3 exclamation marks. So I'll just tell you that, like, just do it. So it's like, what action? Like, start, like activate and do it, but not at the 100%. Do the 20% really, really well. Decide what the 20% is. And that becomes consistency. So it's a 1/5 of your normal capacity that you expect of yourself. Just do a 1/5 of that and make that comfortable and routine and familiar, so that you can increase, you know, as you go incrementally with the energy. But you're not committing to 100%, because you don't have 100% all the time. But can you operate at 20%? Probably. So it's just adapting what that is, and trusting that it's good enough. And then also consider what type of system in the next 30 days to make it more easy to show up and create that content. So what systems might be there that will support you in showing up for it and executing on it. So did I miss anything?
Mm-mm.
Does that sound good?
Perfect.
No, but
awesome. Jaclyn, any response? Oh, go ahead, Donnie. Sorry.
This just came through as you were sharing about the incremental visibility. So I think about it like an accordion of like, okay, there's a little expansion. All right, now I need to go back in my cocoon, and now I go back. So as you think about what visibility looks like, it can have this expansion and contraction piece in order for it to support you versus I'm just going to expand and now crap, I expanded way too far.
Yeah, it's okay to pull it back in. Absolutely.
Donna, you need an accordion prop for your TikTok now.
I know. I was thinking about the Hoberman sphere, but I was like, I don't want to talk about that right now.
That's so great. Accordion is a great example. Awesome. Jaclyn, any questions, observations, any clarity? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, a lot of clarity. I'm just soaking it all in. The expansion and contraction, that helped a lot. That really resonated because I tend to like jump all out there and then pull back. I always say like I'm like a little turtle, and it's like, how long do I come back into the shell and then like kind of creep out again? I just can't go full force. So I really love the incremental, like to do the 20% and not just do everything, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything was really good, and especially I could get stronger boundaries, and my energetic practices can be a lot better. That I can go 100% on because I need that for my self-care. Yeah, no, that I love everything that you guys said. Like everything was great, and I will use all of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
It's so good to have you today, Jaclyn. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Thank you for coming and being visible so we could talk about visibility, because I know there's millions of people.
Yeah, because we're going to post
each of
this
us are like, we could have all been in the chair today.
Scary.
Yeah, that visibility thing, not an issue anymore.
I thought that was a setup. You guys did this for me, right? Because that's me in the chair.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Great. Thanks, Jaclyn. I'll go ahead and move you to the waiting room now, but you can exit whenever you want to. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.